Nummer 30, Eric Frank. Im Leftfield mit der 23, Phil Williams. Im Centerfield mit der 37, Teddy Lamport. Und im Rightfield mit der Nummer 33, Carol Joyce. Die Ace am heutigen Tag für die Cavs mit der 21.
Welcome back to Bonn, where the score is, well, there is no score, and perhaps that you have not been hearing what we had to say, and it's a shame, ladies and gentlemen, because Tom and I unleashed some gems.
We had a fantastic first half inning.
There's no way we could possibly repeat all that
Lost
in the same
forever.
way. Same forever. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the game. Sorry you weren't able to hear the first half inning. Don't worry, not too much happened. On the mound, Tom Zisch for the Capitals against the first player, or the first in the lineup for the Disciples, Patrick Music.
Maybe I'll quickly explain why he's on the mound again. Titus von Kapp, usual Game 1 starter for the Bonn Capitals. In the past few weeks, he's no longer with the team. He has joined a college team in America. So he's off starting his college career. So the Capitals brought Christian Tomzig back in to pitch in Game 1 of this 3-game series against the Disciples.
You want to run through the lineups again quickly after this? A hit into center field?
I guess I could do that quickly.
Just up to you.
The Capitals acting as the away team in Game 1 of the series, so that's why they hit first in the top of the first. They had Eric Brank, Terrell Joyce, Wilson Lee, Daniel Lampunt. Those were the 4 guys that already hit in the top of the first inning, and then it's going to be Friedrich Llewellyn, Vinny Arends catching, Danny Sanchez, Leonard Bella, and Danny Lankhorst on the mound, as we said. Christian Tomzig, and for the Disciples, it's leadoff Patrick Music.
He lays down a bunt. On to first, he is out at first base. It was a nice bunt, move runner up.
But also a solid play by Leonard Bella at third base. He hasn't had too much playing time all season, so good to see him make a solid play on that bunt and at least get out Simon Lechner, if you want to write that down quickly.
Thank you, Tom. That'll bring up William Thorpe. He's the DH today. 5-3, right. We're catching up on the scores, just as we're catching up on the game now. Yes, William Thorpe, DH, wearing number 34. Tom Zisch on the mound. No score in the game. 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. And we are playing for the Deutschlandpokal. Thank you very much, Tom.
Perfect pronunciation.
Lots of smiles up here. As we all know, this Canadian's German is flawless. But it is a game that means something.
Well, it definitely is. Though it might not look.
It might not. No, we were saying before when the sound was off that, frankly, before the game, we didn't see a lot of enthusiasm from the players. They were late getting on the field. They were trudging around. There wasn't anybody running. It isn't really reflected too much in the game yet. I think both teams have swung the bats, but we'll see how the enthusiasm from both teams goes in today's game. I was thinking we would see a little bit more, but hey, who knows? Who knows? I'm happy to be here. The weather's great. I know everybody else in the broadcast booth is as well. And we hope you're all doing well out there as well. And thank you for joining us. This probably is the last home game of the year.
Oh, it definitely is. It has already been decided. Even if the Bonn Capitals should advance in the Deutschlandpokal, they will only have away games from here on out. So this series is the last one played in the Rheinaue, at least for this season.
William Thorpe, 2-2 count. Runner at second, and that one's job foul. Runner at second base is Patrick Music. And we remember him from the last series that we had. He pulled the hidden ball trick a few times.
Unsuccessfully.
One
might add. But yeah, he's been hitting the bat, swinging the bat really well.
No, he really has. And a couple of these players on Haar are doing very well at the plate in the playoffs. Callum Murphy, for example, who's coming up next, hitting very well.
And I mean, this Haar Disciples offense, they had to step up.
And pop up and to sort of shallow center field. Brent goes back and he's got it, and that'll be 2 down in the inning.
Maybe to finish that point, Haar Disciples, they lost their Game 2 starter, Stephen Norrell, due to injury, their American starting pitcher for Game 2. Also lacking Nick Michelli, their Game 1 starter for today. So, point being, the offense had to step up. It was the worst offense in the South all regular season, but it has really improved both in the quarterfinal series where these two teams met last, as well as in the first round of the Deutschlandpokal, where the Disciples beat the Mainz Athletics, and doing so with a team batting average of .302, and they collected 29 hits and 16 walks in just 3 games. So
yeah, the numbers,
pretty strong offensive numbers.
It's true, and the numbers in the regular season did not reflect who the team really was, and we saw that in the playoffs. Because remember, when we were talking about the Disciples before the quarterfinals, the start of the game in which they won 13-9, by the way, we thought that this would be a one-sided affair, that this was Capitals all the way, but we were proven wrong, as occasionally happens. And he strikes him out, and that's the end of the inning. No score, leaves a runner stranded at second, Haar does, and we will head to the top of the second here on Caps TV right after this. Welcome back to Bonn, where there is no score here between the Disciples and the Capitals. We are in the top of the second. Remember, Bonn is the visiting team today for this best of 3. Jager is on the mound. First name Daniel, no relation to the hockey player. The hockey great, Jaromir Jager.
Also, we talked about that in the top of the first. No Bundesliga stats on him so far this season. So his first appearance with the first squad, we were guessing or just trying to figure it out. We are thinking he probably joined the team, or he's usually on the second team of the Disciples and was just asked to pitch today due to a lack of pitchers. We see the same thing on the Capitals with them bringing Christian Tomzig back in. And if there was going to be a Game 3, I don't know who would start the game for the Capitals.
I do. I have 2 pitchers in this booth. The one is to the left of me, Tom, and his brother Max is to the right of me. They both pitch, by the way. Both of them are very good. And so, look, if Bonn comes up short, you might just get a yelp from the field, and you could go on, both of you.
Problem being, Game 2 tomorrow.
You're pitching already somewhere else.
Exactly. In Solingen tomorrow.
Well,
so that might be tough. Gotta bring a lot of ice and pain medications for me to, oh, come on, I can throw one more game today.
You listen to those pitchers from the 70s, they're like, that's no problem. Smoke a pack of Pall Malls and I'll be out there. And he flies out in foul territory to the first baseman. That was Llewellyn.
So our talk about
Vinny Aarons is up now, sorry.
The offensive struggles of the Bonn Capitals was also lost due to the sound struggles. So just to recap briefly, some of the usually strongest hitters in the Bonn Capitals lineup really slumping in the playoffs. That's Terrell Joyce batting 207. Wilson Lee, of course, batting just 140 in the playoffs. And also Vinny Aarons, he's been having a bit of a tougher time.
Yeah, I noticed
at the
that.
plate. Yeah, he's always been great defensively and still is, but offensively it's been a bit slow these past couple of weeks and games, batting 185 in the quarterfinals and semifinals.
And that one's into the, the batting booth, I guess, just into the right field foul side of things. Batting cages.
Yeah, so a lot of production for the Capitals, especially in the series against the Untouchables, came from the bottom third, even, you could say, of the lineup. Luis Martin, of course, not in the lineup today, even though he's been slashing. 436, it was his batting average in the playoffs. Had a 4-hit game in Game 4.
Someone tell me why he's not playing.
He's sick. We just heard from our side, okay?
All right. Well, that was actually very quick research work. Thank you. So, okay. Well, now we feel bad that he's sick. So, hope you feel better. It's incredible research that happens on this side. No, but in all seriousness, all year, just such a pleasure to work with this team in this booth. And then the pitch on the way, and there's a swing, and it's fouled. Yes, it's just a beautiful day for baseball. We were saying earlier, not much wind to speak of. The field, I can't remember it looking any better. We've had lots of rain in the last few weeks. The sun has been kind. Beautiful, beautiful grounds to play on. But the playoff road is over for the Capitals in the formal sense, as Aarons walks, and he's at first base.
I mean, even though this game looks a bit slower, a bit less intense, there's still a lot to play for, and we will get into that in just a bit, to the whole format and what these teams are playing for at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that in the next half inning, because it is.
It might take a while. Actually, it's not the easiest of formats.
You need a little time for this. So Aaron's at first base, takes a medium lead, not going. Fouls it back.
Danny Sanchez, who's hitting now, one of the guys, some really solid, swung a very solid bat the past couple of weeks in the playoffs, batting 345, 10 hits in just 29 at-bats. Also brought in 7 runs, which is second on the team in the playoffs, and he's been hitting in the 6th or 7th spot in the lineup. So that's what I mentioned. Bottom of the lineup has been doing a really good job.
He's got 7 ribbies. I mean, that's not bad. Aaron's no stolen bases in the playoffs.
But he is pretty quick for a catcher. He's got some solid wheels.
Yeah, it's sort of, you don't see many catchers out there stealing. I think Sean Murphy does a bit in the majors. I can't think of any catchers real fast on the bases.
Real Muto.
Yeah, Real Muto.
He's all right. And also, Sean Murphy. I've heard you complain about him having an off day.
Oh, yeah, every other day he's off, and I don't get any points with him on the fantasy team. So. And the foul, is he going to get it? He got to that one, so he's out. Sanchez fouls out. First baseman missed the one before, but he catches that. And that'll bring up Leonard Vela.
First game he started in the playoffs. He hasn't seen a ton of action during the season, but now with Luis Martin being out sick, gets the start at third base. Just one hit and 2 at-bats so far. pinch hit twice in the playoffs.
Another way to put that is he's batting 500 in the playoffs.
500, leaving the team.
There's always a way to read into the stats. Aaron's still at first. That ball's in the dirt, but catcher keeps it in front of him. And that catcher is Struhl behind the plate. Jager on the mound. This is his first outing. Holding in there, not too bad, I would say at this point. 2 out. Throws on to first, but misses first base, just as I say that.
You jinxed him.
I did, sorry.
All your fault.
Yeah.
He's going to complain to you about that.
Well, he wouldn't be the first.
When he rewatches the live stream.
Wouldn't be the first person from Haar to complain about me. But, oh, by the way, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you. To hear you as well. All of you listening in from Haar. Always a pleasure. We get a lot of fans listening in from Haar. That's always very nice.
Showed some great engagement last time these two teams played.
It is literally one of my favorite suburbs in all of Germany, or at least in that region. And that comes in for a ball. 2 out here in the... I have to keep looking. It's the top of the second because I'm so used to Bonn being the home team, being in Bonn, of course, but in this game, Bonn is the visitor. So it's the top of the second. Big swing, but that one goes foul.
Jager, not the highest pitch speeds, but it's been pretty effective so far. Not too many hard-hit balls besides maybe Eric Brank and Terrell Joyce in the first inning. Produced some soft contact. Been around the strike zone pretty well so far.
Yep. So a nice debut. Aaron's is now at second on that, I would say, pass ball. Wild pitch, I wouldn't say pass ball.
Oh, no, he threw it past the first baseman on the pickoff. So.
Oh, right. That's right.
Got his first error of the season. That's for sure. So pitch count at 33, so we'll see how long you can go. He's used to starting and going deep into games.
Long night. And the pitch. That comes in for a strike. I meant he threw a wild pitch to first.
Of course, everyone got that immediately.
Vinny Aaron's at second base. 2 out here in the top of the second. No score. Aaron's not, he's got a lead. It's not being held on. Big swing. Fouled straight back. Lots of action with the girls softball.
Softball Bundesliga playoffs.
Well. And it looked, because we were preparing for the game, we never did find out who won. But, by the sounds of it, I think Regensburg won the game.
Won the second game. But before you arrived at the ballpark, Bonn already did take game 1 on the day. So they split today.
Exciting stuff. There was lots of fans out there to watch, so it was nice to see. And he strikes him out, and that'll end the inning for the Capitals.
Catcher almost took out the first baseman, throwing it over there.
He's looking around going, what the hell was that? Anyway, we'll be right back on Caps TV. No score. Welcome back to Bonn. No score here in the bottom of the second inning. At bat for the Disciples is Lucas Steinlein. And there is quite a story and a road to how we got here today. And to tell that story, here's Tom.
Yeah, I had to do quite a bit of research because when I don't know who was the guy who first told me about, we have to play Deutschlandpokal. I was like, why is there a new tournament, right?
That's what I thought.
It felt like, we get the German champion, and then the two finalists will play in the European Champions Cup. And that's no longer the case, because the story that it starts back last year in 2022. Back then, Germany, we had 2 spots in the European Champions Cup, which consists of the 8th best club teams in all of Europe. And it was played in Bonn. Some viewers might remember last year we had the tournament. We hosted it here. It was a great time. Bonn finishing in 3rd, if I remember correctly. But with Heidenheim finishing last that year, that meant that Germany would have usually lost their 2nd spot in the Champions Cup. But both Bologna, the
sandwich meat,
not the sandwich meat, but the Italian champion, and the runner-up San Marino, both declined to go to the Champions Cup in 2023.
Wait, why? Do we know?
Italian baseball is a bit complicated.
Okay.
The federation and the clubs, they just didn't want to go. They declined going, so Parma went, finished 2nd this year, but Italy lost their 2nd spot due to these 2 teams not going.
Mamma mia.
So Paderborn got back into it and got the 2nd German spot back. That's why Germany will have 2 participants in the Champions Cup 2024.
I got it to there. That's great. Keep going. I'm with you.
So that's why we need to play out a 2nd German team for the Champions Cup. But the German Federation decided it was no longer going to be just the finalists of the German Championship, but they were going to introduce what we see here today, the Deutschlandpokal, which is a new tournament that is being played for the first time, of course.
Just to interrupt there quick, Steinlein takes a walk down to first, as you can probably see on your screen. Go ahead, Tom. Keep going.
So the first spot for the Champions Cup will still remain for the German champion. Then the 2nd spot will go to the winner of the Deutschlandpokal, which is played in a best-of-3 format. Where the first round that was already played in the past few weeks, it consisted of the 4 losers of the quarterfinals. So Hamburg, Doren, Haar, and Mainz.
So it's like a second chance university.
Exactly. All the losers go into the Deutschlandpokal and get a second chance to win their spot in the Champions Cup.
I think it's cool. I think it's an interesting approach.
Yeah, well, definitely. So Hamburg beat Doren in the series by 2-1. So Hamburg will now play the loser of the 2nd semifinal, which was just decided earlier today, was Regensburg, and with Heidenheim going to the final. And Haar beat Mainz 2-1 as well, so they are playing the Capitals, losers of the 1st semifinal here today. The 2 winners. All right, yeah. That's
Can I interrupt you there for a second, Tom? Now, that's the reason also you may see stats for Haar when they come up to the plate on your screen, because they've already played a game. We reset the stats for the live score when they start a new series. And why Bonn? They haven't played yet in the Pokal, so there is no stats for them. There was a strikeout there of Struhl, by the way. Tom, do not stop now.
Mostly done now. So we got through the heavy part, like the why and everything. So just to finish up the format. So the 2 winners of these series, which is, I'll give it to you.
And a throw up from Brank on to first base, and that'll be 2 outs in the inning.
Right, starting that sentence again, trying it again. The 2 winners of these 2nd round matchups of the Deutschlandpokal, so Bonn against Haar and also Regensburg against Hamburg, they will go on to play out a winner of the first phase of the Deutschlandpokal. So these winners will play another best-of-3 series to determine the first kind of winner of the Deutschlandpokal, which will then face off against the loser of the final of the German Championship.
Wow. It's that last part. Like I mean, I understand it, but but it seemed pretty straightforward up until that point when you started talking about phases.
Okay, sorry. I tried to somehow make it understandable.
Give me that last part again.
All right, so there's 2 series in the Deutschlandpokal right now, which is Bonn against Haar and Regensburg against Hamburg. The winners of these two series will square off in a best-of-3 series. They will play against each other.
Yep, got
And
it.
the winner of that series will face the loser of the final of the German Championship, and they will play the final of the Deutschlandpokal.
Got it. And you got it just in time with that out.
Let me add my conclusion.
Yes, please.
Because
go
after
ahead.
I researched and wrote all that down, I wrote on a conclusion. So thankfully, in your
keep
format, that is really intuitive, easy to understand, and for fans to follow along. Right?
It was very easy. Seriously, I got it, and that was a very good explanation. Thank you, Tom. We will come back in just a few minutes.
Zuerst möchte ich mich bedanken bei Science, powered by DM, Deutsche Telekom, Steve GmbH, Dr. Schutz GmbH, Käfer Construction, Lichthaus Enzinger GmbH und Sparkasse Köln-Bonn. Vielen Dank für den Support. Baseball Deutschland ist angewiesen auf Sponsoren und Unterstützer und ohne euch wären wir nichts. So, wir gehen jetzt hier ins dritte Inning oben. Die Caps haben sich mit Schlägern bewaffnet und sind bereit. Der erste Schlagmann, der Captain ist der...
Welcome back. No score here in the
Top of
the third. Right, Bonn is the visitor here today. Jager on the mound for the Disciples. At bat is Danny Lankost.
He hit a solid 360 in the playoffs so far. Of course, the playoffs ended for the Capitals, so you can say conclusively he hit 360 in the
we're
playoffs.
not going through all that again.
Okay.
You did a great job explaining it, but I don't know if I can do it again.
Also drove in 6 runs, so productive series for him, but he still remains on the 9th spot.
That's hit into left field. Is that going to fall in? Oh, a really nice catch by the shortstop of the Disciples. Really 3/4 of the way almost into the outfield.
Made it look easy, though.
That was Callum Murphy for the Disciples. He did make it look easy, but think about it. He's turning around. He's sort of catching it behind him, and you look back, and the sun is directly in his eyes, I think.
Yeah. It was a very good catch for sure.
Yeah, and he's not wearing shades, so put a star by that one.
Eric Brink, of course, still putting together great numbers. Hit 395 in the playoffs. Like, almost you start to expect it out of him, but it's still so abnormal, still so exciting to see. Such a high-quality player all around, on the offense, on defense, pitching-wise.
And you know what, Tom? He's got the one thing that the rest of the team has not had this year, and that's consistency.
Right. Right on.
He's a veteran. He's seen the ups and downs. But he's always remained a hitter throughout in his defense. Very good as well. Now a pitcher this year as well.
Did earn the loss in Game 3 of the semifinals. I mean, he put together a playoff ERA of 1.86. Allowed just 2 runs all throughout the regular season while being used as a closer for the team. Really grew into that role nicely, so.
Yeah, it said... Maybe you said this right. I just missed it. He led the playoffs, 15 hits and 4 doubles. That's what I found today. I just didn't know if you'd already mentioned it, but very, very nice. And that's a chopper just foul. In the third, Music makes a try for it. Valiant attempt, but it was foul. And I think we had mentioned that Brink was our pick for the MVP of the of the Capitals, but I don't think you changed that vote.
No.
Now at this point, I mean he's been Mr. Reliable all year.
The only one that kept his performance up all throughout the year, all throughout the season. Of course, the only guy that's just been used a lot, both on offense and as a pitcher. There's some guys on the squad who bat usually, who had a few pitching appearances, but no one was used even remotely as much as Eric Brink on the mound.
And he takes a walk to first. So the walk issued to the second up. I was going to say it issued to the leadoff hitter, but that was Lankhorst. So Brink is on first base with a walk. Now, I dug up some stats as Terrell Joyce comes to the plate. And this sort of speaks to what we were saying. I don't know if the viewers heard this at the beginning, but Bonn's number one in the playoffs, or were when they were in the playoffs again. This is a different thing than that. They had an average of 304 and an on-base and slugging percentage, also called OPS, of 859. Now, that's really good. Put that in perspective. That's if this was the major leagues. The Atlanta Braves, the league leaders, have an OPS of 845. As I said, Bonn has 859 in the playoffs. So their hitting was great.
Yeah, and it has been all season.
Now, look, if you look at Haar, they have an OPS of 710. Still pretty good, but not as good as the Caps. And that's a hard hit into left field as Terrell Joyce gets there. Brink is on second, Joyce is at first, and just one down in the inning. Now, the whole point in talking about these numbers is to not harp on about the Disciples hitting, because that's not the point anymore. The whole point is that Bonn is just somehow not coming through in many ways on what the numbers say.
Oh, definitely.
This story is different than the numbers reflect, and we fell into that trap when we saw Haar the first time in the semifinals. We looked at the numbers and we said, they don't stand a chance against Bonn with those numbers. And of course, after that 13-9 victory in Game 1, we were proven incorrect.
Also, the thing which played a big role, especially in the Paderborn series, in the two games which were played in Paderborn, which they both won by a walk-off hit.
Yeah.
Game 4, even in extra innings, was another aspect added into the Bonn struggles we haven't seen before too much, which was pretty shaky defense. They had 6 errors in just a 4-game series, but they also made some costly mistakes in very important spots.
Yeah.
Game 3, they had a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the tying run only got on base due to an error by Eric Brink. And that's how the tying run scored. Also, when they still had the lead in that game in the 9th inning, Daniel Lamp-Hunt was under a pop-up, under a fly ball, dropped the catch, which would have been a game ender, which would have won the game for the Bonn Capitals. So shaky defense, which led to some costly runs and also some costly losses, and led to them going out in the semifinals against Paderborn.
Yeah, I think you've got it right, Tom. And these missed opportunities, these plays that you have to make in key spots, you can have the best numbers of any of the teams, but if you're making them at those key points in the game, as you said, you're going to lose. And unfortunately for Bonn this year, that has been the story. And lack of enthusiasm, frankly, but in a lot of the games, especially early on. They look like Brink might take a run down to third with the catcher bowling that at home plate, but nothing doing. Runner at first, still Joyce. Runner at second is still Brink. Wilson Lee at the plate. We talked about this in a number of broadcasts. This isn't the first time we talked about it, but if we're talking about things that went wrong this year, where's the energy?
Definitely.
This has been a series. The story has been one of a lack of energy. Bases loaded now for the Capitals is Wilson Lee takes a walk. That's his second walk of the inning for Yager, who's making his debut. Coming up with the bases loaded is Daniel Lamp-Hunt.
To me, that was the big difference to last year's championship run the Capitals had. The team didn't change too much. Of course, they lost some pitchers, and it did have a big effect. Of course, it was also a very unlucky season injury-wise. Sasha Koch being out for quite a number of weeks now. Zach Dodson breaking his foot. All those factors added together, but the main part, the team was still a very good team, a very productive offense, but they were lacking the energy and the will to win that made them so strong last year. And frankly, every time they've been successful in the past few years.
Yeah, I know. And look, if you come to the games, I would imagine some of the people listening and watching on our live stream have been to the games, and the body language, I'm sorry, it's different this year than it was last year. There is this hangover effect that we have in baseball. A lot of the Cubbies, I think, went through this hangover when they didn't do very well the following year when they won. What was that, 2016?
16, I think, yeah.
So we've seen it with a number of teams. It takes so much energy to win a final. And when you do, the next year can somewhat, how do you get that engine started again and going and consistent throughout the year? Anyway, bases loaded here, only one out. Daniel Lamb Hunt at the plate. And then he takes a strike.
One thing I want to mention is both of the Bonn hitters who are struggling the most, both Taylor Joyce and Wilson Lee, have collected early hits. Wilson Lee on base for the second time here in just 3 innings. So,
yep.
they are a very important part of this Bonn offense and a key for them to win games and for them to score a lot of runs. So, good to see them flip it around a bit after they both had a very tough series against Paderborn.
Yeah, I agree, Tom. We know that they have a lot in them, and I think let me just wait for this pitch. Broken bat to the shortstop, throws on to second. That's one on to first. He got him. Double play to get out of the inning. So Bonn leaves the bases loaded as no score still in the ball game as Jager really gets out of that one. And we'll be right back, 0-0 here on Caps TV.
Wer so aussieht, kann kein Vorbild sein? Wer solche Nägel trägt, ist fake? Frauen verstehen nichts vom Game? Are you mad, Mann? Ich bitte dich. Und Rap ist nur für Männer? Check das lieber nochmal. Und Typen wollen mir irgendwas erzählen. So und so hat deine Frau sich zu benehmen. Wenn du das so gut könntest, dann brauch ich es nicht, okay? Dann sei du doch diese Frau, hast du mit mir ein Problem. Und wenn du denkst, die Telekom ist teuer? Check mal das hier. Wer so aussieht, kann kein Vorbild sein?
Meine Damen, Spiel 3 ihrer Viertelfinalserie um 13 Uhr hier in der Rheinau. Also, morgen kommt los. Und jetzt geht's hier weiter. Die Haar ist halb am Schlag und der erste ist die Nummer 36, der Centerfielder, Josef Rosenthal.
Welcome back to Bonn. 0-0 is the score. Bonn had an opportunity. Bases loaded in the last half inning. But guess what? 6-4-3 double play, and Jager escaped.
It's called a pitcher's best friend for a reason.
And a leadoff bunt. Third baseman throws it on to first. He got him. That was a nice play. Leonard Veller on third base for the Capitals. Did Tomzic get a glove on that one?
I think he tried to, but he missed it just barely, and it might have turned out to be a good thing because Leonard Veller had the easier throw there. For sure. And also, he's looked really good on 2 tough plays on 2 bunts so far. He's not primarily a third baseman. You have to keep that in mind. He used to be a first baseman. So seeing him feeling somewhat comfortable out there, that's really nice to see. And of course, when you're a guy who didn't get the chance to play a lot, you want to show off even if the everyday players are not as motivated as they might have been.
There's always next year, and a chopper to Brink at short. And he throws out of first. That's two up and two down. Now, I want to finish off with something I was talking about last inning. We're sort of in on Bonn, but not showing a lot of enthusiasm. Now, the point in all this is to not keep harping on about Bonn and their lack of experience. But I think we also have a responsibility as people who watch these games to speak on behalf of the fans. And we, in our private conversations, of course, talk to people here at the game, and there is a frustration with this team. There has been, because they'll do a great job one day. They'll be hustling and they'll hit a lot of singles. They'll hit a couple of home runs. Like, great, the team is back. And then it's like the air goes out of the balloon literally an inning or two later. Yes, baseball teams do have ups and downs, but again, I think this idea of enthusiasm and it being lacking, I think it is an issue that has to be addressed for next year.
Oh, definitely. I think there will be some change, most likely, coming up on next year. I mean, Wilson Lee was asked to step up into the role of a manager or a coach, just to be honest, because of a lack of better options. And so, might see a change there. We'll see. Of course, we got the Deutschlandpokal still to play, and as we mentioned in past innings, there's a lot to play for, actually.
Sure there is. And Leshna strikes out, and that'll end the inning. 3 up, 3 down. No score here in Bonn. We'll be right back.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schutz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schutz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
Check this out. It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow. First thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Welcome back to Bonn, no score. We have the Bonn side coming up in the top of the fourth. No runs by either team so far, not for a lack of opportunities. I mean, Bonn had the bases loaded in the last inning, top of the third, but got them loaded and then grounded out into a double play. Frederick Llewellyn, left fielder for Bonn, will step in against Jager, who is looking very good in his first outing. Daniel Jager, I should say his first name. Daniel Jager is pitching for the Disciples. And that comes in for a strike.
But they have worked his pitch count quite well. You have to keep in mind, both of these teams have to pitch possibly 27 innings in just the upcoming 2 days. and both teams don't really have a lot of pitchers left on the
No.
squad. So getting pitchers tired in as few innings as possible could be huge with Game 3 coming up, possibly tomorrow.
You're right, absolutely. Not a lot of options on the bench. Crowd here enjoying a nice night for baseball.
Of course, don't know exactly how it is on the Disciples. I haven't seen them too much all throughout the season, just in the quarterfinals. But looking at the Bonn lineup card, it was 2 guys, one of them 2 regular players, with Luis Martin being sick, of course, and Yanni Orfanides as a reliever. We've seen quite a bit all throughout the season. But apart from these 2 guys, it's only youth players. It's only players who still play on the under-18 squad or on the second team. It's just people that had to fill in there to have enough pitchers to get through 3 games. I mean, they will have Toru Murata, a very solid starter for Game 2, a very good starter, of course.
Very solid, yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
And to the shortstop. Quick release throw to first. He's not going to get there in time, and the ball gets past the first baseman. He's going to stay at first. Llewellyn is. That was a nice attempt. I was impressed at how he got that and released it so quick. Even if he didn't get him, it was a nice try.
Yeah, I don't think the throw would have been in time anyway.
No.
Llewellyn, he's a speedy runner around the base, and he hustled that one out.
Nice to see the hustle.
I mean, we have talked about possible lack of hustle a lot. I really want to single out Llewellyn all season long. He's been new on the team. He joined from Paderborn before the start of the season, and he's been the one guy trying to pump this team up every single chance he gets, every single game. It's been really great to see. And he's put up impressive offensive numbers as well. Batting over 300 all year.
Yeah, throw down to first base, and on the wrong side, and it gets past the first baseman, so Llewellyn goes down to second. That's 2 balls we've seen. Both sides now will ball. Go by first base, and the runner advancing. I don't think there's a stat for that. So now Bonn's got a runner at second. Yeah, no, Llewellyn, you're right. I really like his enthusiasm, and I saw him play for Paderborn, obviously, a couple of times. I just thought he showed a little more enthusiasm for Bonn. I thought he wanted to stir things up, and the rest of the team just wasn't there with him.
Maybe that's why he stands out that much. Maybe you just think he is like not so hyped a lot of the time just because he doesn't get it a lot from the rest of the team.
Yeah, the comparative is a little light.
Because Paderborn is a team that plays with a lot of heart, a lot of energy.
And a hit into the gap, but the center fielder gets over and he grabs it, and Llewellyn's got to go back to second. That sounded better than it actually was.
Also, looked like it could hit the gap for just a split second, which got Llewellyn to get off the bag too much, so there was no chance of tagging up. Of course, it's always tough with the ball hit to left or left center.
Well, I thought there'd be more home runs. I see the parking lot's full out there into left center, and sponsored by the insurance company of Germany.
And just, I think 2 weeks ago, a car by one of the players actually got their windshield broken.
It wasn't his
own.
It
was shattered all over the place.
Oh, no.
But, I mean, he's a player. He knows, and he parked right behind the fence.
And that ball gets past the catcher, and Llewellyn goes about halfway down, and I think that he thought the catcher was having a harder time with it than he actually did, and he changed his mind halfway.
It was also a called strike, so the pitch was in the zone.
Yeah. It's like a cartoon where there's like, you see the smoke going up, but he got back. Okay, so still 1 out. Daniel Jager on the mound. And a number just over the head of the shortstop into second end. Llewellyn comes around to score. So, an RBI.
And that was a great read by, Danny Sanchez.
Yeah, it's Danny Sanchez.
That was a great read by Llewellyn. Because that ball was popped up, but I mean, from our perspective, you could see pretty early that ball might bleed right in between shortstop and center field.
Yep.
But it's tougher when the ball is going over your head and you're the base runner starting from second base. But he realized really quickly that ball was going to drop in center field, and that made it possible for him to score first run of the game for the Capitals.
Yeah, it was nice running and a nice hit. It did go off the end of the bat, but would take whatever comes. And there's a high fly ball into center field. It looks like he won't have a problem with that one, and he doesn't. And Sanchez goes back to first base. So Bonn draws first blood here. And I'll bring up the number 9 hitter. That's Danny Lankhorst.
You can't count him out. I mean, we've talked about it. He's one of the strongest hitters in this lineup at the moment. At the top of the lineup behind him. So definitely chance for some 2-out lightning.
You're saying that he's got a 360 average in the playoffs.
And he also evolved into a really just a solid overall player. His defense has always been really good.
Well, the pitcher bounces another one, and that made it about 3/4 in before it hit the ground, and that means Aarons goes on to second base. He saw that. Nice heads-up running by Aarons.
But that pitch really looked like
I keep
Daniel
saying
Jager.
Aarons. It's Sanchez that's at second. I don't know why I'm getting those two mixed up today.
That pitch, it looked like Daniel Jager's day might not last too much longer. Because that was just the pitch. It looked like his arms seems a bit tired, maybe.
But like based on what you were saying earlier, do you think they're going to pull the string on him early in the game, even if he does struggle?
I honestly can't tell. I mean, they will have figured out some sort of a plan for the upcoming up to 3 games. There's arguments to be made for both sides. I mean, this game is really close, and also, like on one side, it's a close game. Bonn doesn't have their best pitcher on the mound, and also Bonn doesn't have a lot of relievers, so there will be run-scoring opportunities for the Disciples as well, which would lead towards thinking maybe,
we might have this one.
Yeah, and might bring in one of their stronger relievers. But also, on the other hand, of course, you don't want to fire out everyone in game 1 of the series. Of course, if a reliever only throws like 1 or 2 innings, he might be available tomorrow, but that would be kind of a stretch.
Yeah. Okay, third baseman Music grabs it and throws it on to first, and that's going to end the inning. Music looked at the runner on second, thinking that he was coming, but no doing. Obviously, 2 out, and now 3, and we'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning. My apologies, and we'll be right back on Caps TV.
Für die Haar Disciples, der DH mit der 34, William Thorpe.
Welcome back to Bonn. 1-0 is the score. Bonn has drawn first blood. And on the mound is Tomsic still for the Capitals. At bat for the Disciples is William Thorpe. William Thorpe's 0 for 1 today.
Tomzich, very effective so far. The last inning was just 6 pitches, which he needed to get the 3 outs, totaling in his pitch count just approaching 40 now in the 4th inning.
4 strikeouts.
So he might give the Capitals some more longevity out there on the mound.
Well, that's exactly what they need, right? I mean, we were talking about that last inning, and they could use some innings out of their starters.
Oh, most definitely.
So lengthened shadows out on the field now for the Capitals, who are in the defensive position.
I mean, the pitching is so bad for either side. I suspect we'll see position players pitching quite a lot because there's just not enough pitchers left.
High pop-up. That looks like it's heading to... Is that going to be Brank? It is. Fighting the sun off a bit. It's low in the sky. That's 1 down. Did you see the blue moon the other night, Tom?
I didn't. I saw pictures the day after, but it just... I don't know.
Tell me, what's your theory on the blue moon? I see a look in your eye.
No, I never got the news about that we were gonna be able to see it. So I was like, oh, that happened yesterday.
You didn't see that bright bluish thing in the sky?
I saw a normal-looking moon. I was on vacation in Parma, and the moon looked normal. It looked like a normal full moon, if I'm being perfectly honest. I was having a great vacation watching some Italian baseball.
Was it hot?
It was 40 degrees for the first week.
That's hot.
Awful. But watching Italian baseball is really fun.
Tell me about it.
Especially if you don't follow a team too much, so you don't really care about the outcome of the game. It's just so much more fun because the mentality is just so different. I mean, it sounds very stereotypical when I say it like that, but it really is the case. It's just Italian Southern mentality put into this great sport we all love, and it's just so much more intense.
What is that mentality?
I don't think I have the words.
Okay.
I don't know.
But it was exciting.
Yeah, it was very exciting to watch. They were fighting each other left and right.
Really?
There were ejections thrown around. Everyone was always mad at every umpire for every call, whichever way it went. I mean, it's just awesome to watch.
That's awesome. You told me a funny story before the game about it's Callum Murphy's at the plate right now. He's 0 for 1 today. You told me a story about the guy doing the live stream getting kicked out?
No, he didn't get kicked out, but he's suspended from doing it for the off season only, so it won't really affect him.
But why?
But he got into it with some of the umpires after the game, and then again the umpires approached him after the game the following day, complaining about him complaining too much, and then it escalated a bit. Got into some...
We watch our P's and Q's up here, don't we, Tom? We'd never get thrown out of a game.
No, of course not. Also, not understanding any Italian and watching them argue in Italian was just great pleasure to watch. But also the Italian that I picked up in the 9 days I've been there might not be the best.
And it gets by. It just gets between second and shortstop. And so the hitter Steinlein is online. It's the name that gets me. Steinlein is online. He's on base. He's on first base. And that'll bring up Felix Struhl. Struhl is 0 for 1 today. So for Bonn, the story is this. It's 4 hits, 1 run for Haar. They've got 2 errors. 2 hits, no runs. 2 outs here. Ooh, he was on that one. He fouls that straight back. Yeah, I would love to go and watch, and maybe
really
next
fun.
year. It's really interesting. I mean, I grew up in Canada. We watch Canadian baseball, and I've never really seen it in any other setting. And to come here, see how the Germans approach it, and of course seeing some of the Champions Cup as well. It's really interesting how different countries approach it.
And there's the championship series coming up there as well, where San Marino and Bologna will play again in a best-of-7 series. Everyone can watch that as well. The channel is called FIPS Italia, where...
FIPS?
Yeah, that's the name of the federation. So anyone interested in some good Italian baseball, they usually play at night around 8:30 is when first pitch is going to be.
Because it's cooler, is that why?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So anyone interested, I can very much recommend.
I think I'll take a look at that.
Watching Italian baseball is great fun.
Right on. Steinlein on first base. 2 out here. 1-2 is the count on Felix Struhl. He's the catcher. High pop-up, but it's heading foul. Yeah, I can imagine that heat must be very, very difficult to get used to. But look, players in Texas are also dealing with heat. I don't know about 45, but it was hot when I was there. But again, it's not maybe the time to talk about these things, but climate change is going to be factoring as a runner takes second. No problem. Not even a throwdown.
And even with the lefty on the mound, he kind of got a head start. Started running before Tomzich started his delivery, but still no pickoff move over there.
No, they just let him go.
That's the tying run. Just casually trotting into scoring position. Bit odd to see.
And now another one is on. Tomzich walks Felix Struhl, and that'll bring up Miguel Pinheiro.
So after Tomzich was on cruise control, giving up just one base runner, or just 2 base runners in the first 3 innings, and also getting 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 4th,
So, look, Pinheiro hasn't done much in the playoffs. 143 average. He's got 1 RBI, 1 hit at 7 at-bats. But every day's a new day in baseball, as they say.
But very impressive thing for him to see. In the short 3-game series against the Mainz Athletics, he drove in 5 runs, leading the team together with his teammate Simon Lechner. So they both drove in 5 in just 3 games. So that's pretty good, pretty successful time they had playing against Mainz.
Throws on to first, and he got him. I would say so. And that'll end the inning. So a little bit of a threat there, 2 runners on, but stops it. Tomzich does. And the score is 1-0. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Keine Run für die Gastgeber aus Haar. Und der Spielstand nach 4 komplett gespielten Innings 1:0 für die Gäste, für die Capitals in diesem Spiel. Und dann möchte ich wieder die Chance nutzen, uns nochmal bei allen Unterstützern zu bedanken. Ihr kennt sie mittlerweile. Vielen Dank an Science, powered by DM, Deutsche Telekom, Steve GmbH, Dr. Schutz GmbH, Käfer Construction, Lichthaus Enzinger GmbH und die Sparkasse Köln-Bonn. Danke an alle Unterstützer des Bonner Baseballsports. So, liebe Freunde des Baseballs. Wir gehen jetzt hier ins 5. Inning oben. Spielstand denkbar knapp.
Welcome back to Bonn. The score is 1-0 for the home side, who is actually the visitors today, if that makes any sense. It does. Bonn is, for terms of this game, the visitors. So we're looking at the top of the 5th inning. Eric Brank up. And the pitch. That comes in high. Eric Brank is 0 for 1 today, but he walked. On deck is Terrell Joyce and Wilson Lee. Bonn got out of last inning. Tomzish put 2 runners on, but they got out. And it's been a tighter game than I think many people expected so far. Both teams have had their chances. I think for Haar, they've had a harder time defensively, obviously, as they have the 2 errors. 4 hits for Bonn, 2 hits for Haar. That comes in. Also for ball, 3-0 is the count now on Brank. Daniel Jager. That's a hard one to say. I keep trying to say Daniel Lager because the L rolls into the next name, but it's Daniel Jager. Has
so lacking an E in his last name.
Yeah.
So it's a bit unintuitive.
Yeah, but he's looked good. I look forward to seeing him play again as we look to next season. Although Bonn, in the regular season, obviously doesn't see Haar.
But they might, going into the 2025 season, there is plans for a United German Baseball League.
I see.
And that's going to be very exciting to have.
I think so, because really it's very competitive in the South. You've got, of course, Heidenheim and Regensburg and Mainz. These are some good teams to watch.
But it would need the league and all the teams to get a bit more professional. Because, of course, longer travel times.
Yes. It's hard on the players, no doubt about it. But look, I mean, you're looking at a travel time between Bonn and check swing. Pitcher grabs it, looks at second, but Brank's there and throws on to first for the out. That's 1 out. But look, I mean, we in Canada hear of these distances like, oh, it takes 5 hours to get to Munich from Bonn, or 6 even. Canadians are like, that's like a Sunday drive. What are you talking about? I mean, the distances are vast there. I'm not saying it makes it any easier for the players.
But I think a main factor is also the costs, the travel costs for the teams especially. Not necessarily for the players, but for not necessarily Bonn, but the smaller teams, like, for example, Doren. I mean, these are big travels for teams like that, for smaller teams and big costs, and it would... I mean, there needs to be an increase in money in German baseball in general. Like, teams get from sponsors or maybe even through the league.
It's also surprising, again, as somebody who sort of has come in from the outside. I mean, this is a Bundesliga level. And to have these sort of financial issues, yes, of course, money, you don't get money for nothing. You have to have the crowd support and the people watching. Throw down the third, but it gets by the third baseman, Music, who tries to fake out Brank by pretending to have the ball, the old hidden ball trick.
He loves that one. That's Music special down there at third.
Yeah, but it didn't fool Brank, who has now scored, and it's 2-0 for Bonn.
And both of these runs, though, unearned for pitcher Jager, as both of these have scored due to errors of the catcher.
Yeah, tough on the young Jager, but it is now 2-0 Bonn, and Wilson Lee remains at the plate. And as we were saying earlier, to have this at a you look, of course, at football. It's hard to compare the two, obviously, or even basketball. It's tough. It's tough to see. I mean, when Bonn won last year, if this was football, we're looking at a very different story. We're proud of them. We are happy because we are fans of baseball. But I would love to see the game grow even more. And
definitely.
I really think Germans like baseball when they have a chance to really see it. It's very interesting. It's an interesting game for people to watch.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a bit tougher to get into when you're just starting off brand new than a lot of other sports where you can just go ahead, like football, you can go somewhere, watch it and understand the rules, the basic rules really quickly. And baseball can seem a bit boring. I mean,
Sure, it can. Yeah,
when
if
you
you're
talk
outside
to
of it.
guys watching a baseball game for the first time, they're like, there's nothing happening here. You need to have a basic understanding of the rules to get into that. And so that's when people don't grow up with the sport, when it's not a big sport for people growing up, it's tougher to get bigger crowds into the game.
But I think you hit it there, growing up. So the thing to do, of course, is to get the kids involved. And Bonn has a very good program here for the kids. And let's hope that does pay off farther down the road. I know at the high school here they also have baseball as well. So look, it takes time. It takes time, but they're doing a good job, and they've got beautiful facilities here. So Wilson Lee is on first with a walk, 1 out here, 2-0 Bonn in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, but at least in Bonn, I've seen some very positive basic developments. Like, for a long time, it was often the question of whether youth teams or like second or third teams could form or could get enough players to play on weekends, and you would have many games called off because you only got 7 guys who can't play. And at least this season for Bonn and several teams, it seems like
Wilson Lee goes, and it gets past the second baseman. Wilson Lee is coming down to third. He's a huffing and a puffing into third, and he makes it. No, good heads-up base running by Lee. And just like that, Bonn has a number of plays where they've advanced because of misplays by the Disciples.
Yeah, but just to finish that point quickly, that's in the under 15s. I think there's 2 or 3 teams now, and they all got enough players. They got like 15 to 20 players, and it's been really nice to see teams grow and the Bonn Capitals grow as a whole, and just make sure you're going to have enough players to keep the game alive in Germany in the future.
No, it's it's tough too if you're a parent in a way, because even if you like baseball, all the kids in school are talking about the football team, talking about their favorite players. So the parents, there is a job to be done on behalf of the parents and the schools, and I think it would be an interesting idea, and maybe they do this to a certain extent, I'm not sure, as the pitching coach obviously comes out now for the Disciples and then heads back. It'd be interesting to almost have a showcase to bring around to the schools just to get kids with a bat in their hands. Anyway, what other problems in the world can we solve, Tom? I think we're on a roll.
During the course of a baseball game, there's a lot of problems to solve.
Sure there are. So Daniel Lamb Hunt is at the plate. Only 1 out here. A run has crossed. Wilson Lee's at third base. Kevin Music holding him on. No, not anymore. He's now much back from third base. Who's the guy that tried to steal home last night? Did you see that replay, Tom?
I haven't seen any replays of the major leagues, unfortunately, today.
I did watch it today, and I can't remember his name, but anyway, I think it was Atlanta. Tried to steal home, nothing doing. Got him.
Also odd to see right side of the infield playing in on the grass, and the left side just playing back.
Got to try alternative strategies, Tom, this late in the year. And he walks Daniel M. Hunt. So we see the struggles now of a new pitcher. It is the 5th inning. He has thrown, 91 pitches. So, it's getting up there.
It's the 5th walk he's issued over the course of the game. Oh, it's walk number 6, actually.
Yeah, so Wilson Lee at third base, Daniel M. Hunt at first. And coming up to bat is Fildrick Llewellyn.
And also, you should mention Felix Ströbe behind the plate. Having a bit of a rough game so far.
Yeah.
Looking at the lineup card, he is credited as a junior player. He's got the J next to his name, so he's under 21. So, we have seen William Thorpe catching during the quarterfinals, so he might be a bit newer, at least to Bundesliga action. 3 errors for him so far on the day. So a bit of an unlucky one for him, definitely.
And that puts Haar now at 4 errors for this game. 3 of them, you say, by our throw. Oh, that's tough. Lamb hunted first. Wilson Lee at third. Yager delivers. And that's high.
There is some action now in the Haar bullpen, and you can see why he's starting to get a bit more wild, losing control out there on the mound. And who can blame him? I mean, it's his first appearance at least this year. And
impressive. Oh, pitch count has gone down. They must have done a correction here. 88 pitches. Still, all right. I mean, it's still a lot.
In his 5th inning of work and against the tough
high
lineup.
Pop up. That's back our way. And it's landed now. That was high.
Lucky we have at least a tent over our heads.
Ah, yes. This thin canopy will protect us from everything. Be like, is the Yankees broadcaster, John...
Michael Kay it was, right?
Oh, was it Michael Kay?
Oh, was it? No, John Sterling, the radio broadcaster, right?
Yeah. And I think he almost got hit a second time by the same player.
That's incredible bad luck if you think about how big a Major League ballpark is.
There goes Lamb Hunt. He's going to take it uncontested.
And I mean, if you know the catcher has made 3 throwing errors in the first 5 innings, you're just going to keep running until he throws you out, right?
Yeah, good point. Why stop now? So we got the foul ball here in our hands. Did you want me to sign that, youngster? No, he says. Okay. Yager delivers the 3-1 pitch. And that's inside, and he walks another one. And the bases are now loaded.
Fourth walk in the inning.
Yeah, 4th walk. Vinny Ahrens is up now.
So the Capitals have already scored a run in the inning and have the bases loaded without recording a single hit.
Yeah, only 1 out. They'd love to tag on a few here, put this game out of reach. It's only 2-0. It feels like a lot more, but it is only 2 runs across the plate. Wilson Lee's been at third now for a couple of years.
And also, once again, I'll say it again, Bonn doesn't have a lot of pitching. Haar will most likely score runs, and they could score a lot of runs this game. So there is no out of reach, I think, in this series and in this game.
Right. So make hay now. Llewellyn on first, Lamb Hunt on second, Wilson Lee at third, 1 out. 1-0 is the count.
And now just thinking about it, I really don't want to see a statistical overview of how many Bonn base runners have been stranded over the course of the season, because it has to be quite a lot.
Yeah, I think so too. 1-1 is the count. No, you know, some games you walk away just shaking your head. Like, surely, bases loaded, we could get 1 run out of this. And many times it hasn't happened, as you say. Big swing, but nothing happening. It wasn't even close on that one. 1-2, now he's in the hole.
Infield shifted, even though
I was just noticing that.
Bases are
and a hit into deep right field. That is gone. That is completely gone. Little unsure, but that is a grand salami.
And Vinny Ahrens, who has been struggling so much at the plate lately, comes up big with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
Really.
It looked real nice coming off the bat, but I was not. It did not look like it was heading out at first glance, but it just clears the fence. Beautiful line drive hit for Vinny Ahrens. That's got to feel good. And Bonn jumps out in front. 6-0. So we see the replay now. That ball being hit, and Vinny Aaron's giving a high five back to his teammates. Wow, he looks a lot lighter running around the bases now after that hit.
And he struggled especially from that side of the plate, from the left side against righty pitchers. So,
and another good hit now into left field on a bounce. It's Danny Sanchez hitting that one.
Really nice to see for Vinny Ahrens.
Yeah, I got to finish
a good swing on the ball.
Coloring on all my boxes on my scorecard. That's nice to color in for. All right, so Lennon Feller's the batter. He's 0 for 2 today. So 6-0 score. Still only one out.
Jager's still out there on the mound. You would think would be done pretty soon.
Right, unless they simply for lack of other options and maybe thinking of the next 2 games coming up. But, yeah, we discussed this earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see it right now. The velocity is down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Who can blame him? Pitch count.
3 more pitches, he'll hit 100 in today's game's 5th inning. There goes the runner, running again on the catcher, who throws it just, look, wasn't even close is one way to put it.
Yeah, and he bounced it in again on 2 hops.
See the pitcher coming in from the bullpen. I think that's who it was, so we'll see if there's a change coming up or not.
So, pretty likely that this is going to be the last batter that Daniel Jager gets to face.
No, he's heading back out to the bullpen. Just getting his glove. That one's in the dirt. Catcher looking around for it. Oof, it's a rough game for the catcher. Yeah, these things happen. That's Strud behind the plates. 3 errors of the 4 errors made by the Haar disciples today.
Yeah, but as we said, important for the Capitals to capitalize and score some runs, jump ahead as far as they possibly can.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course they're going to hope to get some length out of Tomzich, but it would be nice to preserve some pitching by being up quite a lot of runs late in the game. And, I mean, it would be a great opportunity to give some of the younger guys a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give them some experience and also preserve the very good relievers for tomorrow's game or games.
Yeah, see, give the fans a preview of what's coming next year, maybe. And a walk, and one would think that could be it. I just heard the coach. Maybe you heard it on the broadcast. We're just above the dugout. He said to run down and ask the person warming up in the bullpen, who I can't see from here, how much more he needs. So it's coming. But he'll face Danny Langhorst.
So I'm proved wrong once again. He will get to face at least one more batter.
Yep.
Even though he is, 106 pitches now. Also, the shadows, the light will be quite tough to handle now. I mean, I've never personally seen a game here start at 5 in the afternoon. It's usually, it's a day game or it's a night game, right?
It's a rough time to start a game. Yeah.
So this is going to be a struggle, especially for the left side of the infield, because they're looking towards home plate, of course, where the ball's going to be hit from at them. But right behind home plate is the sun. So shortstops and third baseman and left and center fielders are not really going to like that.
I don't think he's got sunglasses out there in left field either.
Neither do the infielders.
No, you see him holding his glove over his face. That's big swing and a miss. No, I see music down here on third. He doesn't have his glass on either, but he's partially in shadow. I don't like wearing them myself. I always think that there's a bit, it distorts the vision a little bit, especially if they're polarized. But
and also, they just look better up on top on the hat, right?
Gotta look good.
That's why you bring them out at night games as well.
Of course. That's why you wear the eye black, too, on a cloudy day.
Or indoors. Not that we have that in Germany, but I always get a good laugh out of seeing someone in Rogers Center, for example. You would know, wearing eye black with the roof closed.
Nope, you're right.
Gotta block out those LEDs.
That bright Tirana sun. Danny Langhorst weighing number 37. He's 0 for 2 today. But again, hit well in the playoffs. Sanchez at second. And another walk. So,
walk number 6 on the inning. Just
6.
2 hits with 6 walks. And
it's rough. It's a rough game sometimes.
And Jager, you can see him just now looking towards the dugout, kind of hoping.
He's like, my arm's falling off. And so I think this will probably be the pitching change, in which case we'll take a little break. Yeah, he's calling him in. We'll take a little break here and be back in just a few minutes.
So, new pitcher for the Haar Disciples is number 5, Konstantin Teufel. Just his 3rd appearance on the year, through 1 inning in the Southern Bundesliga. A scoreless inning, in fact, and then 0.2 innings in the playoffs, scoreless as well, so he hasn't given up any runs so far this season. Just his 3rd appearance now, and he will face the top of the Bonn lineup, starting with Eric Brenk. The bases are loaded once again. Last time they were. Mini Arons, of course, hit that grand slam. First pitch of Teufel was a strike. So with him having pitched only less than 2 innings on the year, we'll see how much length the Disciples can get out of him. As that one's chopped foul to the left side. Kelland is 0-2. To the Bonn shortstop. Hitless so far for him. And walked twice, scored a run, and stole a base. So he's been productive on the bases. So the 0-2 pitch by Teufel. Big grunt, but in the dirt. Taken for ball number 1. Important for Felix Ströll to keep that one right there at home plate. Not allow any runs to score. Danny Sanchez still out there at third base, waiting to be brought home to score. Run number 7 for the Capitals. That's a check swing, but no swing. Says first base umpire Dennis Langbach. So the count's back to even at 2-2. As Brent is just joining me again on my right side.
Doing a great job.
Thanks. You didn't even hear it. But thanks anyway.
I heard the roar of approval.
Count is full once again. Seen a lot of deep counts. A lot of walks, of course, also this inning.
How many is that total now? How many walks?
Wait, let me count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walks on the inning.
Yeah.
2 hits, 4 runs, 5 runs so far. Of course, the big hit was the Vinny Irons grand slam.
Real nice.
And that's number 7.
There's another walk for us. I'll put Brank on first. And coming down to third, that's
scored a run as well.
Exactly. Sanchez comes in. I gotta get caught up here. I've been out. Terrell Joyce is coming up. Eric Brank is at first base. Langhorst is at second. And at third is
Leonard Vela.
And a hit is that. No, that's foul.
That was crushed, though.
Yeah.
Towards where our car is parked. Max and Mites and Angelos as well. Hope that didn't do any damage.
Nothing is safe. So, yeah, sack's full. 7-0. Top of the 5th. Another hit foul.
That was hit even harder.
Yeah, they're aiming for your cars.
I hope not.
You heard what you were saying about him not hitting at the top of the show.
I take it back. And also, so it was positive that he got back into it and got a hit today.
That's true. It's not positive. It's not negative. It's just how we see it. And it's nice to see the Bonn crowd happy and clapping their hands. They're into this game on a beautiful night for baseball. The sun is behind a cloud, and that's in there high. I'm sure Joyce would love nothing more than a tasty meatball down the middle of the plate to launch it into the stratosphere. That ball would carry.
But Teufel, he's got some pretty good zip on his fastball. Some
Teufel
life on that. Definitely a big upstep in velocity from starter Jager.
High pop-up, and that's shallow. He's got it, second baseman does, and that's 2 out now, so Joyce is down, and that'll bring up Wilson Lee.
Also surprising, no infield fly rule was called on that play, so
I was wondering.
There would have been a chance for Lechner to intentionally let that ball drop, try to turn a double play.
Yeah. Be nice to see Lee poke one, too. Obviously, with the sacks full. Big
He's been
opportunity.
on base 3 times tonight.
Yeah.
Walked twice, also got a single.
Yeah, that's right. He has been singled and a walk in the 3rd, a walk in the 5th.
Second time up this inning.
Yep. I wonder my scorecard's a mess. Way to go, Bonn. Ooh, that's up. That one must have smelled good.
I mentioned when you were away, Teufel just less than 2 innings thrown on the year, so.
Oh, really? Was it when we were at the last
That was
game?
one of his 2 appearances, exactly.
Yeah, because I remember him. He does have good velocity. But Wilson Lee can hit those pitches, too, so. That one's fouled down.
Yeah, I feel like the Capitals seem to struggle more against
I
slower
agree.
pitching at times.
I was just
because they
thinking
can't
Yeah.
seem to wait back enough. But faster pitching, the ball carries a bit more off, jumps off the bat.
It's interesting. I think there's something to that. I mean, it has the right feel. You know what I mean? It feels that's true.
Yeah. If we were in the majors, I guarantee somebody would be able to statistically prove
Sure.
that. Because when I watched the Angels lose one of their
many games this week.
Many games, yeah. I saw a stat about Ohtani being the best hitter in the majors against fastballs under 95 miles an hour.
Sure.
So there's a stat for everything.
Well, look what happens
Unfortunately,
when
not
you get
in Germany.
Right, you get a position player on those major league games. It's hard to hit because they're throwing so slow.
Definitely.
They have timed these pitches, and they're used to them. So yeah, big swing and a miss. Ooh, he's on that one. He wanted that. They're playing him deep too, and rightfully so. The center fielder he was almost back onto the warning track.
6 runs so far this inning, but it feels like it has been going
I
on
know,
for
yeah.
quite some time now. In game time approaching 2 hours already, just in the 5th.
That one's real high.
Remember, it was these two teams that played the more than 4-hour affair
I
in
remember.
game 1 of the quarterfinals.
I remember it well. We had the whole history of Haar in one broadcast. We'll leave it at that. 3-2 is the count. Bases loaded, 2 out.
I've learned that it's better to leave that without a comment.
But we do wish all of those at the patent office well.
That was a very late swing, by the way, and that ball was almost in the catcher's glove when Wilson Lee decided to take kind of a check swing at that and just stay alive.
But I'll tell you, if he gets on one, it's going far because he's had some great swings.
And there is nowhere to put him.
Nope. Only one place to put that ball. And that's over the fence with the way he's swinging. That's high. Again, he walks a run home.
He was scared as well. 3-2 went with a curveball. I mean,
exactly. Not the pitch you want to be throwing.
Another walk. Now you can really start to see the pitching struggles, at least on the side of the Haar disciples. I mean, there's a lot of walking going on.
Yeah, there is. It's more walking than at a senior's hour at the mall. So it's 8-0 now, the score with 2 outs. World's longest inning continues, but it's good that it's for us. You know, that's nice. Not so nice if you're in the field standing in that sun. You know, we never pointed out yet.
What? Enlighten me.
I'm going to tell you. We have a third baseman for Haar called Music, and the umpire who was at third base is Musish.
They might be related, but I feel like
who knows. Yes, Angela says, I tried to pronounce it correctly, Angela.
No, you did. I was just messing around, but of course.
Yes.
It's good to see the musicians of this world
get
together.
It's good to see music represented here at the game, yeah. All right. So
also, I would like
loaded.
a word about the music selection in the ballpark today, but that's for a different time.
I have that question every game. So 3-0 is the count, and
you're also a big fan of playing music during at-bats, right?
Oh, that drives me crazy. I don't know why Germany thinks in Germany it's fine to play music while the batter is still up. Turn that S off. And that one's inside, and guess what? It's a walk, and he walks another one home. All right, the score is 9-0. Half of that feels like walks. And the coach comes out. And let me read his lips. What does WTF mean?
And also, you have to feel for Jager because he was tasked to start this game, pitched his heart out, just lost control, and is now with a total of 9 earned runs to his name. Yeah.
Now, let's recap here. Who is on base? Where Brink is on third. Wilson Lee is on second. Daniel Lamb Hunt is on first. All right, we're good. Llewellyn should be up. He has been up already. He, guess what, walked earlier this inning.
I'm going to Google it right now, actually.
Do
Is
it.
there a major league record, at least a major league record for walks in an inning? I'm really interested.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's a result.
As a journalist, I used to cover the Ottawa Lynx up in, guess, Ottawa, and I saw one inning that had to be close to this one. So
guess what? We tied a major league record.
No.
Because the major league mark for walks during an inning was set by the Chicago Cubs, who walked 9 Cincinnati Redlegs batters in the 5th inning of a game played on April 24th, 1957. That's credit to baseballalmanac.com.
those dastardly Red Stockings.
Yeah, we've tied that mark.
The devil
good to see.
having a hard time on the mound. All right. He grabs it, gloves it to home. Nice play. I give him
That's a
credit.
beauty.
That was nice. And that mercifully ends the inning for the Haar Disciples, where we had many, many walks, and the bottom line is the score is 9-0 for Bonn. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
Wer solche Nägel trägt, ist fake? Frauen verstehen nichts vom Game. Are you mad, Mann? Ich bitte dich. Und Rap ist nur für Männer? Check das lieber nochmal. Und Typen wollen mir irgendwas erzählen. So und so hat deine Frau sich zu benehmen. Wenn du das so gut könntest, dann brauch ich es nicht, okay? Dann sei du doch diese Frau, hast du mit mir ein Problem. Und wenn du denkst, die Telekom ist teuer? Check mal das hier. Wer so aussieht, kann kein Vorbild sein?
Welcome back. The score is 9-0 for the Bonn Capitals after the world's longest inning, it felt like. Well, half inning. But it felt pretty good if you're a Bonn Capitals fan because they plated, I think, 7 runs? It was quite the inning. Number 71 for the Disciples is up. That's Rudovic. He's 0 for 1, and that's crazy. It seems he's only been up once, where we saw a couple of Bonn players up in the same inning who have already 3 hits or 3 at-bats or more under their belts. Tomzic still on the mound for Bonn. Sends that in for a ball. It's 2-1, the count. Bottom of the 5th inning. Remember, Haar is the home team for this. Deutschlandpokal. Brank under it. That was a high one, and he got it. 1 down, just like that. I'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Joseph Rosenthal. He grounded out to the third baseman in his last at-bat. He'll be followed by Patrick Music, the top of the order, and Simon Lechner. Bonn, the story of the game really is. They've got 9 runs on 0 hit, or to no runs for Haar. That's based on 6 hits, only 6 hits for Bonn.
Also, maybe a good thing for the Capitals that Tomzic got a good 5 days, full week of rest. in the last half inning, so he should be well rested to go again.
He's been iced. He's been to the therapy side of a massage. No problem. He's good to go. Put me in, coach. That's a strike.
They should honestly reset the pitch count. It's a bit unfair. It seems like, how is he still doing so well after 120 pitches?
He's only thrown 61 pitches.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, so Rosenthal, this is only his second at bat in the game. We saw some of the Bonn batters come around twice in one inning, and he strikes out.
Mm-hmm. Also, his legs are pretty tired.
Yeah.
And so are
yes. Yes. Okay.
Probably a few disciples.
Right. Patrick Music is up. He's 1 for 2 today. 4 errors by Haar. That's tough. 3 of them by the catcher.
Gotta say, I'm a bit disappointed. I was really looking forward to a few more hidden ball tricks.
There was one. We saw one.
Yeah.
They're not falling for it anymore.
He treated us so well last time out. Really hoping.
I got to tell you, I really like watching Kevin Music play. I think he's in it. He's got some moves. They don't always work, but he's in it. I like players who really just pull out all the stops for a win. I really like that.
I guess.
It's fun to watch. I mean, usually when something doesn't work, we're talking more about the game that happened in the semifinals than here. Music's played fine tonight, but in the semifinals, we saw him try that hidden ball trick a few times, and nobody fell for it ever. It just didn't work, but credit for trying. Must be a concert in the Rhine now. I can hear the bass a-thumping.
Yeah, I think the concert's name is a great one for you to try. It's called, I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, I think it's going to be Jeck im Sonnenschein.
Jesus.
Which is not necessarily German, but Colonian accent. Like Rhineland. So it's carnival music.
Mercifully, the inning ends, and I won't have to try that name. And so we go to the top of the 6th inning, 9-0 Bonn.
Das ist Mia. Mia hat zu Hause einen richtig schönen Designboden, der aber auch leider oberflächige Schäden und tiefe Kratzer aufweist. Dr. Schutz hat dafür die Lösung mit Produkten für die Reinigung und Pflege, wie das Designboden-Pflegeset und um tiefe Kratzer zu beseitigen, das Scratch Fix Repair Set. Und damit Mia genau weiß, wie man ihre Böden zu Hause perfekt pflegt und schützt, gibt es unsere Tutorials auf dem Dr. Schutz YouTube-Channel. Für Mia und euch alle. Damit muss sich Mia nicht mehr um ihre Böden sorgen, sondern kann ganz beruhigt unsere Caps anfeuern. Go Caps!
Check this out. It hasn't been such a long time since people first started shopping online, and it was easy to keep up with the clicks. Little by little by little by more, the clicks added up to be more than the stores, and e-tailers worked harder than ever before, because they had to keep up with the clicks. All of a sudden, there are so many must-dos if you want to keep selling, like delivery there, no there, or there.
And make it tomorrow. First thing.
No time for borders. Gotta stay in control to stay in the flow and continue to grow. But we'll help you. Keep up with the clicks.
Hi, everybody. It's 9-0, top of the 6th inning. Oh, sorry, bottom of the 6th.
Top. Right.
I'm getting mixed up. How many times have I done that this game? Simply because Bonn is the visiting team. It drives me crazy. But anyway, nobody's too worried about it. after that big inning by Bonn, we're still trying to get our scorecards up to date. But Vinny Ahrens, who hit that grand salami in the last inning, is at the plate. He's the one that hit that nice line drive over the right center fence, I would say. Just clearing the fence. And it got out of here in a hurry.
Now look at how deep the second baseman is playing.
Yeah,
I mean,
right on the grass.
No, that's the shortstop you're seeing. The second baseman is way out in right field.
You're right.
They're shifting him like crazy.
You don't see this in the majors anymore. And he gets between them nevertheless. Well, that's baseball, folks. Hit them where they ain't. And he did. And Ahrens is on first base. That's the thing. I think that was always the argument against implementing a rule on a shift. It was like, well, just learn to hit. Hit where they're not.
Yeah. Work there.
Easier said than done, but good for Ahrens. Now, I think Ahrens is being replaced by a runner. He is.
Oh, yeah, that's Erik Kunze, the backup catcher.
There we go.
He's one of the younger guys, so he'll get some playing time, some catching time as well. So, of course, in a 9-run ball game, you can start doing that. Give them a bit of experience, bit of playing experience.
Well, and Ahrens has deserved a bit of a rest today.
Oh, yeah. He's caught a lot of games as well throughout the season. He's been the only catcher, so give him some time off his legs.
Devil's still on the mound. Danny Sanchez at the plate. He's 2 for 3 today with an RBI run and a stolen base. Yep.
Also, the runner is not getting held anymore at first base. So even though Bonn does not have too much pitching, our Disciples not really looking to win the game anymore. They feel like this one is pretty much out of reach for them.
Yeah, I think they're just looking forward to regrouping for tomorrow. And a reminder, that game starts at 12 tomorrow?
At 12, exactly. And if needed, Game 3 would start like half an hour to 45 minutes after end of Game 2.
Right. So come on out to the game. This might be the last chance you get this year. So come on out and join us. Always a lot of fun at the park. And there's another hit into left and over the left fielder's head. I have to say, he lost that in the sun.
Yeah, that definitely. That was all sun. I mean, he started charging in, but you could tell he did not see the ball, and then it just went over his head.
I feel for the guy. So Kosa comes in to score. That's 10-0 now. Again, we were saying, why start a game at 5 o'clock? Well, Haar wanted the game at 5, so they got the game at 5. But the sun is in the left fielder's face, and there's just no easy way to get to those balls that are lined right up.
I don't really understand, though, why he's not wearing his...
Yeah, he has no shades out there either.
No, he has him on the top of... Oh, now he put him on.
Oh, well, there you go.
Took him off his cap and off his hat and put him on.
Now that's the value of a coach right there.
So that was, I mean...
Yeah.
Just as helpful advice as the Little League coach telling his pitcher to just throw strikes, man.
Just throw
put
strikes.
it in there.
I always get that on the Blue Jays broadcast. Buck Martinez. Well, it's an easy game, folks. You just throw strikes. Right.
Why didn't I think of that before?
Yeah. But it's a marvelously deceptive game when somebody gets a hit. You're like, that looks so easy. Of course, it's incredibly hard. But yeah, so third base here is partially in the sun music. He doesn't have his glasses on, but he kind of doesn't need them, and like he's in the shade still. But you're out in center field and the left field positions right now. It's a bit hellish.
Tough.
Yeah.
Definitely very tough conditions.
Yeah, so the pitcher, Teufel, has thrown 31 pitches. 3 walks. 8 hits now for Bonn. Not charged for an error on that. Left fielder wasn't. That's high. Velocity good, but pinpoint control kind of an issue for Teufel. Leonard Vela is up. He's 0 for 2 today with a run and a walk. Sanchez at second lead. I'd be surprised if he goes. I mean, and there's another walk. That'll be his fourth walk for Teufel.
I just saw, which is a nice thing to see, Zach Dotson, who broke his foot just a couple of months ago. First time he's walking around the field no longer with a cast on his right foot.
Oh, that's good.
He's getting better. Of course, not eligible to pitch anymore this season, but he'll hopefully make a full recovery, be back for the upcoming season. He's always been a very consistent pitcher.
We have a pinch hitter now, and down to third base. On to second. No play at first.
And that was Colin Ozuevulu. That's an easy name for you right there.
Yeah, that's great. Want to say that one more time for the people out there?
Colin Uzuevulu. I'll even show you the lineup card so you can just copy the name off of there.
He hit for Lankos.
Yeah, and he's a center fielder, exactly, and he'll be in there.
Oh. Okay.
And as Brent's still trying to spell
writing
that
it
name,
phonetically.
Eric Brank just crushed that one down the line. Just a foot more so foul.
Osavulish?
No, Ozuevulu. It's an
Osavulish.
ooh in
Okay.
the end.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're going to get there by the end of the game.
We'll make it. We got to see, he came up and he legged it out at first base. So he's at first, and Sanchez is at third. Brank is at the plate. Brank today, 0 for 1, RBI, run 3 walks, and a stolen base. A little bit of everything, a potpourri of hitting.
And I just looked up in the MLB, and the Major League record for walks in a 9-inning game is at 16, which seems a bit low to me, but we might break that today.
16's a lot.
I mean, from what we've seen today.
I mean, for the Angels, it's not a lot. Sorry, did that hurt?
I can't be hurt anymore.
No.
I cannot be hurt anymore. I'm an Angels fan. I've been suffering the past, I don't know, how I've been suffering since I've started watching the Angels.
And a hit into right field by Brank. It's a little shallow, but he's got it. The right fielder throws back to first.
And almost takes out the umpire on that throw.
He's almost takes out the music man. But run comes across the score. Sanchez comes home. 11-0 is the score.
Capitals are at 13 walks on the game, so there's a chance there.
That's a lot.
And it is. Maybe. We'll see if there is a difference tomorrow. Of course, with Stephen Norrell not being around, it's going to be a bit of a surprise what the Disciples decide to start on the mound.
Yeah. Terrell Joyce 1 for 4 in today's game. Wilson Lee is going to be after him. 2 out now. 11-0 the score in the top of the 6th inning. See, I got it right that time.
See how much one can improve over the course of a long baseball game.
What's more, the walks for Haar or the amount of times I forget that the Bonn is the visiting team today? Kind of even, I bet. That's inside on Terrell Joyce.
Teufel working on increasing that. Taking the lead back.
Teufel working on the heat. And 14. You're going to be surprised that it was a walk. Bases are not loaded. They are at second and first base, and there's 2 out. Close game, folks. Hang in there.
Yeah, I don't think the Disciples are going to make... maybe they will make another pitching change.
It's a bold move, pulling the devil. They look to the bullpen. There's going to be a change here. So we're going to take a few minutes, let you ruminate on the 11-0 score, and we'll be right. Run. 3, also walked 3 times today and a stolen base. Also had himself a game. It's like a bingo card.
I mean, With 14 walks in total. Yeah, some of these guys will walk a lot. Yeah.
So, yeah, when we were talking about enthusiasm at the start of the game, we take that all back now, and we're incorrect. But no, it has been an issue throughout the season, but it's nice to see Bonn playing well today. And nice to see a lot of their top hitters really coming through. And, of course, the grand slam by Ahrens. That was a highlight of the game for sure. And we're only in the 6th inning, Tom.
Yeah, it's quite a lengthy one. Of course, mercy rules are in play.
And there goes.
And the pinch runner, by the way. We had a 3-2 count, 2 outs, runs on first and second. But the pinch runner that just came in for running did not go.
Did not go.
Not really in the game. And
right.
I mean, he's going to hate me for talking about it, but his most famous moment, if you can say that, with the Capitals was his base running mistake in the semifinal of the European Champions Cup, which led to the elimination of the Capitals back in 2022 against Parma.
Not that you've forgotten about it. No. Look, I mean, that's just part of a baseball player's story, and there's always more games to play, unless you're retiring. Speaking of Mike Trout.
Oh, come on. He's not retiring. What?
I'm kidding. I really like the Angels, actually. I feel
I don't anymore.
You do. I felt that way about the Jays many times, and I'm like, that's it. I'm done. And I come crawling back like the beaten dog that I am year after year.
I've never seen any team ruin their entire farm system and organization that quickly like the Angels did this year since the trade deadline. I mean,
it's been rough.
Awful. Hey, he walked.
Guess what? That's his 4th walk today for Wilson Lee. I haven't seen anything like it.
Another pinch hitter.
Okay, who do we got this time?
Jonathan Bolz. That's an easier one, right?
What's his last name?
Bolz. B-O-L-Z.
Balls?
It's a bit harder. German language is a hard one. Bolz. There you go. He's a first baseman, so he'll take over for Daniel Lampund. I mean, it's in an 11-run game. Great to give these guys some at-bats, some experience out there.
Sacks are full. Wouldn't you love to see him? He comes on, pinch hits.
And walks.
Which is the more likely scenario. But parks one over.
Right. What do you say? Next
I don't know.
Up, you pinch hit and walk.
Oh, that was a nice swing, though. Yeah, but that one's going to be caught by the right fielder, theoretically. And it is. And that mercifully, again, ends the inning for the Haar Disciples. 11-0 the score. We head to the bottom of the 6th here on Caps TV.
Der Deutschlandpokal wird gespielt von den Mannschaften, die in den regulären Playoffs erstmal ausscheiden. Das heißt, nachdem die Haar Disciples ausgeschieden sind gegen die Capitals, haben sie sich aber gegen Mainz durchgesetzt. Hamburg hat bis heute auf seinen Gegner gewartet. Das werden die Guggenheimer Legionäre. Und der Sieger dieser Serie hier heute und morgen ausgespielt, spielt dann auswärts. Das ist ganz wichtig, das wird ausgelöst. Entweder dann gegen den Sieger, also entweder gegen Hamburg oder gegen Regensburg. Das heißt, morgen wird hier Spiel 2 und 3 stattfinden. Wenn nötig, das dritte Spiel im Anschluss.
Welcome back. I put the microphone by my face. Welcome back. It is 11-0, bottom of the 6th inning. This day in baseball, folks, is the feature we're going to feature next. In 1880, the first night baseball is played in Nantaseg Beach, Massachusetts, between teams from 2 Boston department stores. Oh, yeah. The Boston Post reports the next day that, quote, a clear, pure white light was produced, very strong and yet very pleasant to the sight, by the 12 carbon arc electric lamps. Wow.
Should have had a night game here. Would have been better.
Yeah, but if it was the Haar disciples, they would have said, not happening. Not happening. No electric, carbon, whatever lights. All right. 1992. Wait for that pitch to come in. It is 1-1. Terry Mulholland of the Phillies becomes the new pickoff king. His 14 pickoffs are the most by any pitcher since the stat became official in 1989. Well, that's pretty impressive, actually.
14 pickoffs?
I know who didn't get close to that was John Lester. Did he ever? He was famous, right? He'd never throw over.
I think there's a video of Tommy Pham just taking 30-foot lead because he knew Lester wouldn't throw over, right?
It was a great story. 2-1 is the count. And one more. I want to save this one. That's a strike. 1990, Dave Stieb, you gotta love him, who had lost 3 no-hit bids with 1 out to go in the previous 2 seasons, finally pitched one as the Toronto Blue Jays beat Cleveland 3-0. It was the record 9th no-hitter of the season. Oh, I remember it well, Tom. He was so good, and I was so happy. I was
also,
so young.
Of course, remember the 1990 season.
Yeah.
Like it was yesterday.
Like it was yesterday. Right. You weren't even a concept at that point, were you?
I don't think so, no.
It was a great year. So Simon Lechner goes to first on a walk. Bond's like, I want to get in on this party, and they walk one of their own.
Well, that was a hit by pitch, right? And with all the control issues on the Haar side, that was the first hit by pitch of the game. That's impressive, right? 14 walks, and then you get the first hit by pitch. That's pretty impressive.
There we go. I'm caught up. Okay. In the telling of those dates, and now William Thorpe is up, and he's 0-for-2 on the day. He'll be followed by Callum Murphy and Lucas Steinheim. Steinlein. 0-1 to count. Dave Stieb was magic on the mound. Never seen anyone adjust himself, let's put it that way, quite so much on the mound either. It's like somebody should have tied his hand back. A few times, the camera posed on the picture. There was like an Elvis Presley thing. They only filmed him from the waist up after a while. Look away, kids. Lechner at first base. That's a ball. So Tomzish still pitching. He's 76 pitches in now.
But he also had long break periods, right? The past 2 innings. You have to be, no way around it. It was a few quite long innings where he had to rest. So
second walk. He might be not long for this game as the coach comes in.
And newly shaven or short-haired Yanni Orfanides is on his way out to the bullpen.
I saw him galloping out there.
Yeah, he just went back
He
there.
got the haircut, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Now, he's from Greece.
Yeah, he is. Mm-hmm.
But he was playing in the United States.
In college, exactly.
And he does a very good job helping out with the team that you're playing on.
You are
and
as well.
I practice.
Yeah, he's the coach on the 4th squad of the Bonn Capitals. Great coach at that.
Super nice guy, too. Really nice. And he's warming up, and we might see him in this game as well. But for the meantime, Tomzish will remain in the game. And he'll face Callum Murphy, who is an uncharacteristic 0-for-2.
Yeah, and the entirety of the Haar Disciple offense has been shut down pretty well by Tomzish.
Yeah.
Allowing just 2 hits, also no errors on the side of the Capitals. Just 3 walks and the 1-hit batsman. So 6 base runners. They're the first 5 and...
Yeah. Cal Murphy,
plus innings.
Good player, like what I've seen in the very few games that I've seen him play, but impressed. Impressed by the numbers, too, he showed in playoffs. Mighty swing. Just missed that one. So the score is 11-0. So they have to play 7 complete innings, yes?
And for the 10-run rule to be in effect, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. 15-run rule would start to come into effect by the 5th inning, and
Right.
21 rule by the 4th inning, but we're past that.
And a snag at third base by Vela. He's played a hot corner today.
He's looked really solid out there.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, really nice to watch him out there today. Nice to watch some of these players we don't get to see on a regular basis. Sort of a foreshadowing. And that'll bring up Lucas Steinlein. He's 1 for 1 with a walk and a stolen base today. He'll be followed by Felix Strohl, who's had a real tough game behind the plate today. Not trying to beat a dead horse, but it was 3 of the 4 innings, errors of the, as I make a mistake saying that he made 3 of them. There's some nice heat on that strike.
More than it feels like more than we've seen from Tomzich in the past. I mean, he's a veteran. He's in his 40s, so he's not going to get you out with velocity anymore. He's just switching out arm slots and grips, throws a bunch of different junk pitches, and he's still effective, even at an older age, one might say.
Hey, he's in
for a ball player,
in his
of course.
He's in his prime. So it's a 2-2 count, 1 out. I think Mr. Tomzich and I have a lot in common.
I've never seen you pitch lefty sidearm, though.
You probably will never see it happen. And that's high, popped up, and the left fielder comes over. He's got it, no problem. And that'll be 2 out now.
That was up there for quite a bit.
Yeah, it was. And that's Llewellyn out there in left field. Up comes Mr. Strohl. He'll be looking for a bit of redemption, I would imagine. 0 for 1 today with a walk. So runners at first and second for Haar, but there are 2 out in the inning. So far, Tomzich has left them. They've gotten 2 hits, but they've gotten 0 runs.
Just to complete that, there was the guy who just flew out to left field. That was Jan Endriat pinch hitting for Lucas Steinlein. So also another swap on the side of the Disciples.
Yeah, so both players swapping them in and out. So apologies if we're sort of we're also trying to play catch up here. And a hit along the Bonn dugout side. A foul.
No, Tomzich just 1 pitch away from getting through 6 shutout innings.
Yeah.
Just really impressive. I mean, you always kind of know what you get with him. He tends to be to get a bit hittable, like the 2nd or 3rd time through the lineup. And there's a very good offense he's facing. But he's been really good today and has given the Capitals exactly what they needed so far.
No, you're absolutely right, and on a beautiful day to play baseball as well. The flags, they're not even moving out there in center field. It's just one of those nights. Probably feels he can pitch another 9. But we hope it doesn't come to that, of course. And that one misses.
I'd be down for a good old 15-inning game.
Would you?
Why not?
I got to go tuck the kids in.
Yeah, on second thought, I have to leave for the ballpark and Soling tomorrow at 8.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And the runners go on that, and he misses, and that's strike 3, and we will head to the top of the 7th inning, where the score is 11-0. We'll be right back on Caps TV.
falsche Nägel trägt, ist fake? Frauen verstehen nichts vom Game? Are you mad, Mann? Ich bitte dich. Und Rap ist nur für Männer? Check das lieber nochmal. Und Typen wollen mir irgendwas erzählen. So und so hat deine Frau sich zu benehmen. Wenn du das so gut könntest, dann brauch ich es nicht, okay? Dann sei du doch diese Frau, hast du mit mir ein Problem. Und wenn du denkst, die Telekom ist teuer? Check mal das hier.
Here we are back in Bonn. 11-0 is the score for the Bonn Capitals over the Disciples. And Teufel is still on. Lucas Bicko is still in the mound for the Disciples. And at bat for the Capitals is Phildrick Llewellyn. He's 1 for 3 today with 2 hits and a walk. Number 23 is having a nice game today, but many of the Bonn players are. A lot of them have walked a lot. They probably got their 10,000 steps in easily. With all the walks in today's game, might have 20 or 30,000. Tom, it's trivia time.
All right.
So question, it's a hard one. How fast will Aaron Boone be fired after the World Series is over? 1 game, 1 week, or 1 hour? Okay. Maybe that wasn't the real question. All right. Okay, another one. Phildrick Llewellyn takes a strike. It's 2-1 count.
To see the Yankees have a shit season.
Woof, the children, cover your ears. All right, this is the real one. Ooh, that was close. That was a walk. I wasn't sure if that brushed his jersey or not, but that's... So Llewellyn finds himself at first base. All right, here's your question. It's an Angels one. Who was the first Angels pitcher to throw a perfect game? Was it?
Just want to embarrass me asking an Angels question that I don't know. Come on.
I know. Just mean. So, all right. Who threw the first Angels perfect game? And this is a multiple choice. Was it Mike Witt, Bo Belinsky, Nolan Ryan, Jared Weaver, Shohei Ohtani, Max Paulus, or Angela Beckman?
Can imagine.
And that one's to the shortstop, and he's got it. 1 down.
Can't imagine Nolan Ryan ever threw a perfect game with how wild he was, right? I mean, he had like 7 no-hitters.
And 3 knockouts.
Also, that can't imagine him. So what were the first 3 options again? Jared Weaver had a no-hitter for sure.
First 3 options.
That was not a perfect game,
Mike
right?
Witt, Bo Belinsky, Nolan Ryan, and Jared Weaver, and Shohei Ohtani.
Bo Belinsky?
Is that your answer?
Yeah. That's my final answer.
The answer's Mike Witt.
Come on, it was one of the 2. God.
Don't come on me. I mean, so Mike Witt's perfect game came against the Texas Rangers at Arlington Stadium on the last day of the 1984 MLB season. As both teams have been eliminated from the playoffs, only 8,000 fans saw it. With the win, Angels finished 500, which they had not done since the 82 season. Look, they're still not going to get there.
But the 8,000 people, that's like 5 Oakland games, right?
That's right. Bonus question. How many hamburgers does your brother Max like to eat after the game? 1?
At least 4.
2? Or multiples?
Didn't even hear you.
Nope.
Just staring at a screen in agony.
Typical millennial. All right. Here we go. We're back.
Probably better for your
1 and 2 is the
physical well-being that he didn't hear you on that one.
Good job. and you call yourself an Angels fan. Danny Sanchez is at the plate. He's 3 for 4 today. He's 2 RBIs, 2 runs, stolen base.
I'll keep that in mind for the first broadcast in the new season that we'll do together. I'll figure out the hardest, most unsolvable Blue Jays multiple choice question ever. Give you 123 different options for which might be the right one.
You're mad. Don't get mad at me.
I'm not
I was
mad.
just trying to be, to really dig deep. Yeah, right. So Llewellyn at first base. Danny Sanchez takes that one high. That's 3-2 now. Familiar count. For Bickle, his this will be pitch number 23. And a high foul.
Also, Danny Sanchez, the only one of the starting 9 hitters for the Bonn Capitals that hasn't walked in this game. So
Is that...
he's the only one.
Wow. If only you could remember those really good stats for your Angels.
Come on. Ask me about the 84 Angels.
No, that's a
Back
very
when you were in
interesting
your
stat.
20s, right?
All right.
He has walked.
Yes.
There we go.
He just walked. You got him there, Max. All right. Sorry, Matt. Call your brother's name. Tom. And Llewellyn at second. Sanchez at first base. 1 out. And at the plate, Leonard Vela. He's played very well at third base tonight.
The Capitals are still at only 8 hits.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it?
I
With
mean,
11 runs. A lot of the story
but
is the errors.
with 8
for
hits
them.
and 15 walks, I would imagine they have more than 11 runs, right?
It's
I mean, that's 23 base runners on its own.
yeah,
At the errors and on that,
4 errors.
it's pretty wild, pretty wild.
Swing and a miss by Vela. Count is 2-1. Crowd's hung in there, though. They're still here enjoying a nice night out at the ballpark. Come on out tomorrow at 12. The game will start then. Game 2 of this, the Deutschlandpokal.
Oh, that was flawless, actually.
Thank you.
Nice.
And you know what? It might be your last chance to come out to the park for the season. Come and eat some burgers. Come and buy some merch. Come and meet Tom and Max and Angela
I
and the
won't
whole
be here,
crew.
unfortunately, tomorrow.
You can't meet Tom, apparently. Number 31 steps in, looking good at the plate.
The way you advertise me, I'll have to start taking money for autographs or something.
Yeah, I'm your agent. I get 30%. I can't take 30% of nothing. So, sacks are full. That's a familiar story for the Bonn Capitals today.
All right, who's up to bat?
You know, it's Colin. It's a Wulu.
Nice.
I do what I can. You're trying to put me on the spot.
So were you? Come on, be honest.
It's really interesting. Of course, we have players of many nationalities playing in Canada as well, different last names. But internationally, for me, it's such an interesting experience because, of course, we get players from all over Europe and all over the world that come here to play. So lots of fun names, very interesting ones. No doubt, and to try and pronounce. And I'm not that good at pronouncing names, so there you go. I like to say I'm a speech writer, not necessarily a speech giver.
Have you ever tried yourself, though, at giving
Actually,
speeches?
I won 4th place in Europe on a speech contest.
Oh, wow.
So maybe I am a speech
never
giver.
knew, and that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. I'm not
No,
gonna lie.
in 2013, I won 4th place in all of Europe in Budapest. Humorous speech competition. And it was hellish, let me tell you. Try to be funny after waiting in the wings for an hour listening to very funny speeches, thinking you're never going to be able to deliver one, and then you're up. And a nice connection, and that goes very foul.
That was
I lost
420 feet foul ball, though.
I lost track of it. I thought, boy, if that's fair, that's gone. No, foul. Bickle throws back the ball.
Oh.
He's like, that one also feels like a 500-footer.
What's the over-under on
walk?
Walk.
Pretty good. 3-2 is the count. 1 out. Bickle on the mound. It's his 37th pitch. A big hit into deep left field. If it's it's to the fence. Boy, just missed. And the runners circle the bases. And very, very nice hit. Throw home, not even close. And boy, oh boy, they really broken the game out. It's 14 to nothing. They finally updated the score. I lost count. But a very, very nice hit by Uzawulu. And
he crushed 2 pitches at that. And just...
You could see it coming.
Just very close to him hitting that one out.
Yeah, you got to feel for Bickle, who's out there on the mound now having to deal with all of this. It has been a story of walks.
They took out the ball, so that means that probably was his first hit in the Bundesliga.
Wow, and what a hit. I really thought that had a chance, and it just landed at the base of the fence.
Very good.
A little hard to see. We have a bit of an obstructive sight line here from our view, but it made it right to the base. He's got such a nice, smooth swing, too. That'll bring up Eric Brink,
who somehow is hitless today. Haven't seen that in quite some time.
Yeah, I was told maybe on the screen it shows 13-0, but it's 14. And there's another single, and they hold the runner at third base, as is right. I mean, you're asking for a beaning if you try and run up the score any farther. Bonn getting their swings in today. Frank, a familiar spot at first base, getting his hit, but you got to feel for the new players. Good job.
I mean, the OBP and the Deutschlandpokal is going to be through the roof for most of these Bonn hitters.
Yep, so they've got one more game to play tomorrow. If they can get through that one, then their path is a little more clear.
Then it's going to be either Hamburg or Regensburg.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that matchup will face the loser of the finals.
You like to say, don't count your chickens until they hatch, but this one looks like it's in the bag. I'm just going to make a bold prediction.
Ooh, watch them prove you wrong.
Yeah. Bickle, 41 pitches. A big hit into center field. Not sure that doesn't have the legs go out, but it's a very high hit. That's 2 out now in the inning as the runner tags and goes home, and you now have 15 runs. So Bonn doing a nice job today to get as many people across the plate as possible. Run up those stats. And that'll bring up Wilson Lee.
He's been on base 5 times today.
Yeah,
they haven't gotten him out.
The best thing, he's been off 5 times, and he's okay. Put that 6 times. Wow.
I just have to talk about him struggling offensively more often.
See,
because he just gets on 6 times in a game.
Yeah, it's strategy, Tom. Just shows how much we know. 1-1 is. He had a 1-1 record going into that at bat. But of course,
4 times.
He walked 4 times.
Don't discredit the man.
No. It was just funny looking. I'm like 1-1. So, Boots is at bat. Jonathan Boots. He's 0-for-1 today. There is 2 out in this inning. Believe it.
Home plate umpire not
Not
increasing
generous.
the strike zone at all.
Nope. He's no Angel Hernandez, I can tell you that. He missed some calls in that Jays game last night where they're hilarious. Oh, he got it at first base. So, very nice catch by the first baseman of Haar, and that'll end. I say this every inning now, mercifully. That half of the seventh inning. We'll be right back on Caps TV, where the score is 15-0.
Letzte Chance hier für die Haar Disciples. Noch einmal Nachschlag. So, und dann sehe ich gerade hier neuer Pitcher auf dem Mount für die Bonn Capitals. Also mal einen Riesenapplaus für Christian Tomsig, der hier einen wahnsinnigen Spiel geworfen hat. Und wir kommen auf die Hügel. Janni Orfanige mit der Nummer 60.
Welcome back, where the score is 1-0 for Bonn. Just kidding. It's 15-0. And it's the bottom of the seventh inning. If Bonn can get out of this inning, they should. That should be it. But we have a new pitcher. Tell us all about him, Tom.
Yeah, that's Yanni Orfanides. As anyone who watched a game of the Capitals this season could probably tell by the delivery. Although he's a bit tougher to recognize, as he chopped off the hair.
Yeah, one out.
The past week.
It looks good, though. I like it.
Yeah, it does. A lot more clean, that's for sure.
Yeah. We're here for any style advice. Any player.
Also, you should know, head of the official Yanni Orfanides fan club is sitting just 2 seats right of you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mac's a big fan.
So am I.
I had to look. I couldn't remember my right from the left, and I looked, and there was empty stands. That wasn't a good sign. No. We all like him in the booth. We all play. He coaches. Super nice guy. And a number, but what was that? That's nice. Well, that looks good. Danny Sanchez grabs that.
Busy inning for him out there at second.
Yeah. It really come to his, let me look at my hands, to his left. That's what my daughter always does. She's still learning her right from her left. She goes, Daddy, do I turn? And looks at her hands. Left? Yes.
But 2 quick outs.
Yep, 2 quick outs. That's the way to do it, Yanni. 2 quick outs, and it's 15-0, and it's been a long game. We had a lot of entertaining things to watch today. 15-0, 11 hits for Bonn, 2 for Haar, 4 errors for Haar, though.
Unknown, but definitely very high number of walks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stopped counting.
I stopped counting, too. I can't keep up. Rosenthal is the hitter for the Disciples. Yanni's looking good out on the mound today with that delivery.
He is.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the hair weighing him down.
Right. But he's
moving a lot more freely now.
Yeah, there you go.
More aerodynamic.
Yeah, it's good velocity on that. Bottom of the order, but hey, you never know. You're only up 15 runs. You got to be careful.
Just one strike away from finishing this game off.
Swing, and he fouls it back.
I always love when he goes overhead after throwing.
Yeah, it's special skill. I mean,
submarine, slot. It just goes overhead to finish off a hitter.
I miss those submarine pitchers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In the majors. I remember Dan Quisenberry, Doyle Alexander.
I mean, there are some extreme guys out there, like Tyler Rogers.
Yeah.
Just stand practically on the ground when releasing the ball.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see.
Catcher took that in the bread basket. Walk it off. Think about it tomorrow.
You'll feel it tomorrow as well, probably.
Tell it to your doctor. Yanni, 2 out, 2-2 the count. A hit down to third. Ooh, Weller boots it. He's played a good third base today. Just a mistake there. Runner's on.
But it continues on.
Yeah.
No game without an error on the Bonn defense.
No, that's too bad. They almost got out of that game.
Should be scored an error, probably, right?
I would think so. Played a good game. You're allowed 1. That'll bring up Patrick Music, wearing number 45. I feel we haven't talked about Patrick Music enough tonight. But that team hasn't done very much today, so there wasn't much to say.
And also, if the guys keep walking, you can't get them out on the old hidden ball trick.
Yes. Yep. Foul back our way. Yanni's looking in like, I just want to get it. I just want to get this done. We all do, Yanni. No, but it's always a lot of fun doing this broadcast. We make fun of how long the games can be, but we really do have a good time doing this.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I know a lot of people will hang in there on the live stream for the whole game, and credit to them. You know, thanks for your patronage, and thanks
having to listen, enduring us for 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, like this really goes out to the people who put the volume down, which is really the right move. No, but thanks for watching all year. Hopefully next year we'll have a live stream also.
And of course, there is going to be a live stream of tomorrow's games, just without our beautiful voices.
Yeah. Vela to third, scoops it, and rightfully hangs on to it. He's seen the last 2 plays, but this one he kept in front of him. Just wasn't. I don't think he comes up with that. He's throwing them out at first. Fast runner. In music, this will bring up Simon Lechner. So, in the Haar disciples, interested in making it close. And they have runners at first and second. Rosenthal on second, Music on first. That pitches the ball. 1-0 the count, 2 out. 15-0 the score, bottom of the 7th inning.
But Music over there at first, just 90 feet away from meeting up with Music.
That's right. And he gets that call.
Thought about that for a second.
Yeah.
Decided, it's late. It's been a long game.
Supper's getting cold.
Grill has been turned off.
Mrs. Beal waiting.
So again, just 1 strike away. Capitals winning game 1. It's definitely been one-sided. I mean, Disciples didn't allow a run through the first 3 innings, but after that...
Yeah, we forget about that.
Yeah, but Jager had a very good start to begin with, but when he started struggling...
That's it. That swing said it all. The game is over. And let's total it up. 15 runs for the Bonn Capitals, 0 runs for the Haar Disciples, 11 hits for Bonn, 3 hits for Haar, 1 error by Bonn, 4 by the Disciples. Now, I don't have anything more to say about this game that will illuminate it in a different way. I think Bonn played great. Great hits, great grand
there's
slam.
the hair. There we have it.
All right, any final thoughts, Tom?
It was too one-sided. I think we said everything there was to say about this game in the past. What was it? 3 hours, almost exactly.
Yeah.
Games 2 and 3 tomorrow. Games 2 and maybe 3 tomorrow will be broadcasted as well, of course.
Right. So, on behalf of all of us here in the booth, Tom, Angela, Fabian, Max, thank you very much for listening and watching, and we look forward for you tuning in or being here at the ballpark tomorrow. See you later, folks.